Hi, Tyler Murray. Welcome back to the Stephen Shiels radio show. How are you?
I am well. Thank you for having me back.
It's great to have you back. Have you got any new movies that you're being casted in?
Gosh, new movies? No, I've got. I was just in just cast as Santa Claus in a
Hmm.
television show, so hence my festive background. I don't know. Do people in Australia do the crazy thing where as soon as it's November 1st, it's like boom, Christmas music?
Not yet. No, we wait till December.
All right. There's a crazy trend in Canada. Like we've got a friend who the day after Halloween, she puts her Christmas tree up.
Hmm.
And November 1st, and that's a little bit early for me. My wife said that she was driving home today, and there was a radio station playing Christmas music.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I guess people are just in the festive season. It's because our proximity to the North Pole, I suppose. There it is.
How's Halloween for you guys? Because Halloween's never been big in Australia. People do celebrate it, but it's not like what you guys do.
When I was a child, Halloween was by far my favorite day of the year.
Wow.
It's a pretty big deal. Now my son doesn't care for it. He likes to
Hmm.
hand out the kid. Do your kids trick or treat? Do they
I
go
don't have.
around and
Some of the kids do. I don't have any kids yet.
okay? But I meant like Australian kids. But
Yeah, they
yeah,
do, but it's not as popular as the States and Canada. I mean, there's a
yeah,
couple of Halloween shops in Australia, but I don't know. It's never
it's a
been
massive
big
thing
here.
here. It's humongous. So
Tell
it
me about Halloween. Like, what's it been like for you?
well, I mean, for the last couple of years, because still pandemic times, it's been a little bit slower. We're on a pretty busy street as well, so we don't get as many trick or treaters. But like when I grew up, it was like not only did we go out trick or treating, but I knew the area of town like where the rich people lived, where you'd get like a full size candy bar instead of like the little
Yeah.
you get the and a little Halloween Snickers is fantastic, but the people who wanted to show their money off, they would the big size candy bars, and we knew where to go. So
Mm.
we would do our neighborhood first, and we'd go to grandma's place and show her my vampire costume or my Batman costume. I was Batman a lot, and then my dad would drive us to the neighborhood that we asked to go to, and he was like, "Are you serious? There's plenty of candy in our neighborhood." We're like, "No, full
Mm.
size Snickers bars." So we would go do that, and yeah, but and like you wear your costume to school, and like the little kids in the kindergarten, or I mean, even my son he's in the upper grades, but he would say even still the kids would have like a little Halloween parade,
Mm.
especially the younger ones, and they'd go from class to class and showing off their costumes. Like it's a huge thing.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, slowly in Australia, Tyler, it's picking up, but I wish it was big here.
Well, you be the change, Stephen. Be the change that you want to see.
Because I wouldn't mind dressing up as a superhero for a Halloween party one
And
day.
why not, right? Why not? See, my thing is when I became an adult, old enough, I've never been an affluent human being, but I would often, even if I didn't give out full size candy bars, and for a few years I did give out full size candy bars, but now at least I give out like good actual chocolate bars. Is
Mm.
like there's some people who give you like this weird toffee that you have to really chew on, and it's just awful, or like these other little kind of sour candies. I never liked the sour candies. I wanted to be known as the house that you go to with the big size chocolate bars or the good quality chocolate bars.
Mm.
But alas, you know what I mean. It's priorities, and my son is like, "This is ridiculous.
Mm.
Can we just get to Christmas, please?"
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in Australia, we have Australia Day, Anzac Day, but yeah, I don't know if has Halloween always been big for you in your part of the world
Yeah.
rather than
Uh,
over
well,
here?
I mean, as far as I mean, it's certainly in the last 40 some odd years that I've been alive. But yeah,
Because you
yeah.
guys have like firecrackers and all that going off, don't you? Just
No, not necessarily on Halloween. No, firecrackers is more of a Canada Day type
Mhm.
thing, Victoria Day. But yeah, on Halloween it's more, and it's really has gotten to. I was speaking with my neighbor, who's saying, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, the whole street was just a buzz. It was like a party. And now it's like, kids are going trick or treating, and it's not as big a deal. I think it's not a big deal for my kid because I always I like to get chocolate and have chocolate in the house. I've
Mm.
developed a sweet tooth. So he's like, well, great, we have chocolate. Whereas when I was a kid, my parents never let us have a whole lot
Mm.
of extra chocolate. So to go and like fill a pillowcase with chocolate that would probably last you till February,
Mm.
if you rationed it properly, it was kind of a big deal. So
And that's awesome. And do you dress up on Halloween? Do you have a costume?
I don't anymore. My wife works in a school, so I mean, I think she put on a bit of a costume this year. Again, my son doesn't really care for it, so because of that. Um, but I used to throw back when, again, pre-COVID days, and actually 10 years ago, before I was even a parent, I would throw these massive Halloween parties in downtown Toronto for the big theater shows. Like I was in Dirty Dancing and Les Mis downtown, and whenever like the big shows, we would all get together and have like a massive group party with like the people from the other big shows, and I would help organize that. And for those, I would go all out and have
Mm.
like just be a ridiculous man child, but not so much anymore now. But I still do hand out the candy, and I carve a jack o' lantern, and I put put a serious bit of effort into my jack o' lanterns as well.
What about movies? Have you been working since we last spoke, or are you still working in a restaurant?
I do moonlight in a restaurant still. They've been very good to me. There's been some. I don't know if it's the same. I think it's the same in Sydney, isn't it? Where there's been some closures, and then you
Mm.
open up, and then the numbers go up again, so they close it down again. And I think
Yep.
we're at a level now where I don't anticipate we'll close again.
Mm.
And the vaccination rate here in Canada is quite high. So we're we're in a period right now where the numbers are kind of going up and down. But I've done a lot of voice work. I've
Mhm.
done a few animated series in my time during these times, and I did a web series um, set in. Or no, it's actually a television series. Sorry, it's starting off on the web, but they're trying to find a buyers for it for an actual channel for a streaming station set in a cinema.
Mhm.
It's called Coming Distractions. It's going to be released soon. So, and I was, like I said, I was just cast as Santa Claus. So, not a whole
Nice.
lot of on-camera stuff, but my voice career has done well.
You thought about podcasting?
I have a podcast. It's something that a friend of mine, my friend Dan and I do as we don't take it as seriously as you do. We've done one season. It's called Mers Nerds.
Yep.
Uh, I don't I'm not on social media anymore. I have Twitter, but that's just to follow the metro.
Mhm.
I don't really use Twitter at all, and I got rid of Facebook 6 months ago. I actually
Wow.
got hacked, and
Did
then
you?
I got hacked pretty bad actually.
Shit.
And in Facebook, I tried to get Facebook to help me, and they were zero help whatsoever. And they just kind of let whoever these sinister fiends were get away with it. So I said I'm not going back, and I decided not to. But when I was on Facebook, I had a page called Mers Nerds,
Mhm.
just a Facebook group. It's an invite-only closed group, and thankfully, before I got hacked, I made some of my friends admins on it, so the page lives on without me. But the podcast is called Mers Nerds, and it's just a couple of middle-aged dads talking about nerdy things.
How'd you know you got hacked? Because I've seen there's a lot of these celebrities on Facebook, Instagram that are DMing people that are fake accounts and using their profile photos.
Yeah. It was one of those things where Facebook emailed me, and like I got the message that it looks like someone's trying to get into your account, and I had a professional page for my acting career. I
Mm.
had my personal page and my professional page, and they had removed my wife and I as administrators for the professional page.
Mhm.
And I tried to get in, and then they had changed the two-factor authentication thing. So when I changed all my passwords and then I logged out and logged back in to make it complete, I couldn't log back in because the second of the two-factor authentications wasn't coming to me.
Mm.
And when you go to Facebook and you're like, okay, this is what's going on. First of all, Facebook doesn't have a phone number at all. And
Mm.
when you email them to say this is what's going on, they say, okay, well, log into Facebook and then change your stuff. You're like, well, I can't log in. They're like, okay, well, just what you want to do is you want to log in. It's like, well, but I can't log in. Oh, well, go to a different device and log in.
Mm.
But I can't log in. And they were like, well, nothing. So we just kind of let it happen. The person changed. They started posting on my professional page. Like the personal page got shut down pretty quick because my wife and I kept on trying to log in a bunch of times, and I guess that was a red flag. The one thing Facebook did do well was they just shut that down. And then they on the professional page they just kept on posting cartoons, like clips from different cartoons, and then episodes of Friends. And then they eventually changed my name, and then um, then they just stopped doing stuff with it. My wife was following it for a while, and I don't know. So
Yeah, that's the problem with Facebook. I'm using Webtalk at the moment, and they monetize me on Webtalk, but I'm fed up with Facebook and Instagram. You know,
yep,
um, I just can't get any traffic to my work.
yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. Like it's since being off of it, I'll tell you, Stephen, I my stress level has gone down because it's so much negativity on there, right? It
Mm,
feels like social media is a place for people to go complain. That said, there was a lot of great positive things about social media that I do miss. I miss community, and I miss my nerd page that I had started.
mhm,
That my as you're asking, my podcast was all about the nerd stuff, and it's just
mhm.
just for fun, you know. But I don't miss the negativity, the complaining, the hearing about everyone's politics, and if it's not their politics, then it's the amazing picture of their cat doing that funny thing. So it I don't miss it that much, I tell you.
No,
And
I
I
don't.
I never found it that professional page that got hacked and the guy was having some fun with. It never really did anything for my career. So
Mm.
I don't know.
Yeah, make sure you tell your fans that you got hacked too, and your agent.
Oh, I still had Instagram for a while, and I put a thing on Instagram saying, my Facebook account was got hacked. Um, and I had like my sister and my wife both put out things saying if you get anything from Tyler, just ignore it or
Mm.
report it or whatever. I guess enough people must have reported the professional page because I think even since then since they've changed the name, stuff like that, it was taken down, or they just decided that. I think a lot of the times the hackers are just people trying to create a nuisance,
Mm.
and if you don't bite the hook, then they just kind of get bored. I'm like, well, it's no point in being mean to a person who doesn't seem to give a shit. So, oh, I'm sorry, doesn't
That's
seem to give.
okay. I swear to. No, but
All right.
that's it. That's it. On YouTube, I've on some of my comments, I've been told to go fuck myself and all that. And on YouTube, you could put like a filter in it, so you filter out certain words, sub for sub, in the the comments, the
Right.
community.
Right.
So, but then trolls, you just ignore them.
Yeah. I personally I've never understood um the MO of a troll. Like I'm just gonna go be anonymously mean to someone.
Mm.
Uh, Right. Good for you. So I don't get it. I don't get it.
But
So
no, do you find as you grow online, people just start putting your fake account and messaging people? I've seen it a lot on Instagram.
I, I I'm I have I think on a scale of 1 to celebrity, I'm like maybe a 1.
Mhm.
I don't know if no one's gonna get any traction pretending to be Tyler Murray.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. I got an email from a friend of ours the other day, saying like, "Hey, buddy, I was wondering if you have a moment for a quick favor."
Mm.
And this had happened before. My mom's cousin, you know, years ago, I got an email from them, and I was like, "Yeah, sure. What's going on? Can you get my daughter a Christmas present? I just need a gift card, and you can send it to me." I was like, "Oh, wait, this isn't you. You're being hacked." And the way this recent email I got from my wife's friend, the way it was worded, I was like, "Well, this is you're clearly hacked." They're quite clever in how they word it, though. "Hey, I just need a quick favor. Email me back."
Mm.
Well, and I called right away, and I was like, "Did you send me an email?" "No, I didn't." "Okay, well, there." But I think it's a numbers game for them. I think. I don't
Mhm.
know. I'm not being a hacker myself. I'm not really quite sure what they're up to.
Oh, they even the government they actually copy an email from the Australian government and try and scam people about your
Yeah.
taxes here.
Yeah. Well, here it was. I don't know where you got like the telemarketers, where you just get the random phone calls,
Mm.
and like, this is Revenue Canada. You owe X amount of dollars, and there is a warrant out for your arrest. And it's like, well, no, it's not.
Mm.
So
Yeah,
anyway,
you can put your name on the do not call register. Do you have that?
we do, and they
Yeah, good
find
on
their
you.
way around it. I don't know. It's just I don't even answer the home phone anymore. It's just like,
Don't bother.
the photo rang, and my son's like, "Dad, someone's trying to scam us." I'm like, "Okay, we'll ignore it." So I don't know. I don't even know why I have that stupid thing. So
Exactly. No, but a
yeah,
lot's changing in the world, Tyler, and good on you for getting rid of Facebook too.
Well, I mean, I don't. I mean, I tell people like, yeah, I got rid of Facebook, but I just never got it back. You know, people were like, "We'll just start another account." That's a friend of mine a couple weeks later got hacked in a very similar way, and she was like, "Well, get Facebook to shut that down and just start a new one and just start over again." And I was like, "Well, I'm not gonna throw my support behind a company that it has zero customer service, like not even a phone number that you can
Are you
call."
serious?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like, and like we had a problem with Apple with my Apple ID or something like that. Like, my son couldn't log into Minecraft, and I called Apple. Within 5 minutes, I had someone on the phone helping me out. Within 10 minutes, the problem was solved. Boom.
Mm,
And Apple, I think, is just as big, if not bigger than Facebook. I don't know, Apple.
mm,
And they've got a phone number. They've got someone you can call. Like Mark Zuckerberg, you can't hire a staff of people in
mm.
several cities to take these phone calls. Shame, shame on you. So,
Exactly.
yep.
And Facebook has broken up friendships too.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the tumultuous nature of the way politics are these days. I mean, the thing is, when you write down an argument, you can't. There's no. This is not a proper way to have a debate.
Mm,
On text or messages. Like, there's no tone or the delivery of someone. Like, you can't understand sarcasm or whatever. You know what I mean? So, I think if someone lets their friendships get broken up over Facebook, then the friendship itself was already on thin ice. Wouldn't you agree?
exactly.
Yeah.
Are you on Clubhouse?
Nope, I've never heard of Clubhouse.
You know these
Oh wait,
there's
unless the sandwich. I enjoy a Clubhouse sandwich.
there's audio apps that are around like Spotify Green Room, Clubhouse, and people on Clubhouse are just roasting each other over politics, LGBTQ discussions, vax discussions, Black Lives Matter discussions.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
ridiculous. You know,
I
politics
choose
have taken over too much.
mm,
Yep.
I choose not to get involved in them, but then they just roast each other, Tyler.
Yeah. And for what? I'm right, and no matter what you say, I will always be right. Well, if you've made that decision, then
Mm,
there's no point in having the conversation because, I think the vast majority of the population lives in the center. You know what I mean?
mm,
I'd like to pay less taxes, but if I'm going to pay taxes, I want them to pay for good things. You know what I mean?
mm,
Like, I want people to be healthy. I genuinely, if you're not hurting me and you're not breaking the law, then I'm gonna stay out of your business.
mm,
Type thing. That said, if something bad is happening and we need to stand up for people who are being marginalized, then let's stand up for them. But
mhm.
I don't need to post my thoughts online every day. I think that's the problem for a lot of people. They just like, "Oh, I need to share this. And here's the thing. Here's the thing that really roasts me, and this is in the grand scheme of problems in the world.
Mhm.
This is one that is not a big problem at all. But people who spoil things for people,
Mm.
that bothers me. It's like, oh, I saw something amazing on a television show. I need to tell the world that I think it's amazing. Amazing. Like, I didn't see that yet. When the final season of Game of Thrones, and
Mhm.
whatever you feel about the final season of Game of Thrones, personally, I didn't really have a problem with it. But
Mhm.
uh, I was out of town doing a contract.
Mhm.
I was in a theater show, and I said to my wife, let's not watch it, and whenever I come home, we'll watch it together. We'll binge watch it together.
Mm.
But every what was it, Thursday nights Game of Thrones came on.
I
Every
think so.
Thursday, like for I'd have to put like a 48-hour moratorium on my internet activity
Mm.
because like in real time someone would be like, "Oh my god, I'm not going to spoil anything," but and then they would name the character's name and be like, "Well, clearly I'm going to be watching for that character to do something." So, and it's the penultimate episode. Don't do that.
Mm.
Anyhow, that spoilers really they
Let,
roast my chestnuts.
let's talk about, have you heard of that Alex Jones from InfoWars? Oh, is this conspiracy theory? He got banned from Twitter, YouTube, like Donald Trump apparently is banned from all them, but he was just like, the stuff he says, some of it's just so
Oh,
offensive.
an American?
Yeah, he's been on
Yeah,
Joe Rogan's podcast.
yeah. The conspiracy, like, I skip those episodes of the giant conspiracy theories because I can't, because most of the time it's very very angry people, and I have this physical repulsion to
Mm.
to that kind of anger. It just makes me sick, and I you know the fight or flight. I'm a flight. I don't want to
Yeah.
have anything to do with it. You know what I mean?
But for
So
three
fight for
hours, he would just talk about FBI this, uh, child, this and all
well
that.
that all that QAnon stuff where they
Mhm.
just like I don't like this person, so I'm gonna believe
Mm.
the most sinister, vile things I could like. I don't have time for you. I don't have time for you. There was people, JFK Jr. Jonathan Fitzgerald, JFK Jr. died in 1999,
Mm.
right, in a plane crash, and there were some people who last week showed up at the site of his father JFK Sr.'s the point where he got assassinated because they believed that JFK Jr. was going to show up, that he's still alive, show up and somehow declare Donald Trump president again.
Mhm.
Conspiracy theory that I did hear over the news.
Mhm.
And I thought that's amazing that you can believe that, but you can't believe that the man lost an election fairly.
Mm.
That to me is just like I don't understand, and I don't care to put too much. I mean, here I am talking about it, right? But I don't want to put a whole lot of focus on it because it's just not my day-to-day life. I've got plenty to do. Every day I need to wake up and figure out what this family is having for dinner.
Exactly.
That's difficult. That is not something that
I wanted to ask, did your government give out any food vouchers during the pandemic like we had in Sydney?
food vouchers I never heard of.
Like to go
Our
to
government
McDonald's or a restaurant, like $25, and
no.
they gave you nothing?
No, they actually the Canadian
Shit.
government was quite good. They had a government response program where you could get $500 a week
Mm.
um, if you were unable to work. So and the in Canada if you're an actor you're technically self-employed.
Yeah.
So as a self-employed person, I didn't qualify for employment insurance or EI. So in normal times, if I was out of work, I was just out of work and I was kind of screwed. But but with this assistance program, I was able to and then thankfully I used my voice equipment that you see here or that you see here,
Mhm.
and I put together a vocal booth in my house, and I was able to do voice work from home. And then the restaurants were able to open up, so I had my income. But the assistance program they had here was quite fair.
Mm.
Yeah,
How's
so
healthcare in Canada?
pretty great.
Is it?
Yeah, I can break my arm right now.
Mm.
I'm not gonna do it for you, but just take my word for it. I could break my arm right now, go to the hospital, get my cast on, walk out, not pay a cent.
But I
That
hear
happens in
it's very slow, and some people say it's shit.
well, I mean,
It's slow here in Australia too, Tyler. You won't get out for 4 hours in emergency.
sure. Yeah, quite. I mean, I remember my son had an ear infection a few years ago, and we went to emergency, and we were there for hours.
Shit.
Because there was, just a couple of doctors dealing with everybody, and it was the middle of the night, and they had, they prioritized the way they're supposed to. But I don't know. I would much rather wait 4 hours
Mm.
to get my arm set, or than have to pay $15,000
Mm.
for that and still have to wait 4 hours. You know what I mean? I think the socialized medicine system that we have now is not perfect, but it's good.
Yeah, it's the same in
I'm
Australia
behind it.
too.
Yeah. No.
Medicare, it's called over here.
Yeah.
What do you guys call it?
Yeah. Healthcare, Medicare, whatever. Yeah.
No, it's interesting, and no, that's amazing that you're back in work too.
It's I'm fortunate. I'm fortunate that I had a voice agent and her assistant. They were very proactive. Early on in the pandemic, they had said, um, like the voice world is not going to be affected as much if you have your own in-house studio. To me, the thought of that was just very daunting. So I kind
Mm.
of hemmed and hawed and dragged my feet, setting it up for quite some time. And then finally, my wife and I were talking, and she was like, "You just got to do it. Just got to do it. Just get on Amazon and order the stuff." And
Mhm.
my agent sent me a list of everything that you'd need, and the assistant said, "Once you get all your stuff, I'll help you set it up. Like we'll do it over Zoom. It'll be fine." And it was daunting, but we did it. And the morning I ordered it, let's say I ordered it at 10 a.m. At noon, I got a call from my agent saying a voice commercial that I had done is coming back. They're recording the next week, and if I don't have my own home studio, they get to recast me. So let's say they were like, the session was going to be on a Wednesday, and Amazon said, "Oh, your stuff's going to arrive on Monday." So between Monday and Wednesday, we were able to set it all up, got it over to the boxes, Zoomed my agent, and he helped me set everything up and recorded the commercial. And it's more than paid for itself. I've done animation from home, radio commercials from home, television commercials from home. So it's been, and all my auditions sound fantastic. So it's good. It's good in that respect.
What type of microphone you got? I got a Zoom H1.
I've got the Audio Technica.
Nice.
I think it's a 2021. Yeah, I don't know if you can see it here. The audio. There.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, so it's it's a good middle of the road kind of microphone. I've got a great a Focusrite interface that a friend of mine hooked me up with, and so it's not by any means the top quality stuff in the world, but I can put together a decent audition. And I how do I sound to you?
Fine.
There you go.
What about me? Does this sound okay to you?
Yeah, it sounds great.
As you progress in your podcasting career, you get picky about your audio.
I bet. When we started Murr's Nerds, my co-host Dan and I, we just kind of made it part of the show because we do it for fun. I think we have literally 12.5 listeners, I'm sure. And we made it part of the show, just like the getting over the technical humps of starting this podcast, because we were just a couple of dads who just wanted to talk about the MCU. So I don't know. Are you a fan of the superhero movies, the MCU? And
I have to check him out. I'll check your podcast out too. Send it to me. Is it still available?
It's on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a couple of guys, and we have a couple of guests, nerds who just like to talk about whatever they're nerdy about. We had my friend Adriana, who's just an all-around, all-encompassing nerd. She's just so cool. Then my buddy Marco, who is a nerd about podcasts. Actually, you might find that quite interesting. He's an actor in Toronto, just this really fascinating guy. And he had started a podcast with a couple of podcasts actually with some friends. He won an award for his podcast, The Insomnia Project, where it's literally a podcast for people trying to fall asleep. So he'll have mundane conversations with his guests, and you listen to that as you fall asleep, which I thought was, and I've been a guest several times. I guess I'm boring enough that people would fall asleep. Check with your listeners, see how they feel. But he decided early on in the pandemic, everything closed down in March, and he decided in 2020, he was like, I'm going to write a book. I'm going to write a book about podcasting. That book was published by June.
Amazon published it?
I don't know who. I bought mine through Amazon. Yeah. I think I got the Kindle version, but his book was published. That's all I know. And it's a 25-step book about podcasting. Really, anybody who wants to podcast, look up Marco Timpano. And I think it's called The 25 Things I Wish I Knew Before I Started My Podcast. Really terrific. So he's a guest he's a podcast nerd. And then we had a friend of mine, my friend Jacob, who's also an actor. He was a guest, and we call it their nerd major. His nerd major is he's a paranormal investigator, as well as being an actor. So
do you think ghosts are real, Tyler? Do you believe in ghosts?
I had an experience in a famously haunted theater here in Toronto called the Royal Alexandra Theater. I was doing a production of Dirty Dancing, and toward the end of that production, I was getting ready to go to New York City for an audition for The Lion King. And in the middle of the day, I used to show, like for an 8 o'clock show, I would show up at 3 o'clock. I loved being at the theater. I had my dressing room all set. We were there for 18 months, so my dressing room was like a second apartment. It was great. And I would use the deck of the stage, to rehearse things. Now, we weren't quite supposed to do that, and I had been asked a couple of times by the stage crew to please not use the deck. But, if you got there early enough and there was somebody, sweeping around, they're like, yeah, whatever, they don't care. So this one day, I went in early to use the deck to get ready for my audition, and I was Hakuna Matataing around, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw this guy walking toward me. I thought it was a stagehand coming to tell me to get off the deck. So I turned to preemptively tell him, "Don't worry, I'll get off now." And he took 3 steps toward me and he vanished. And
Wow.
he didn't like ethereally go away. It was just he took 3 steps. Like he was coming toward me, he was there, and then he just wasn't there.
Sure, it wasn't someone else's shadow or something?
No, it was plain as day. Like imagine someone 10 feet from you right now, right? It's
Mm,
not that far away, and it was a person. It was he had a long trench coat on, and he was bald,
mm.
maybe a little bit taller than me, and he looked like actually one of the stagehands. And
Wow.
it was like he wasn't in the wings, he was on the stage, and it was a big, massive stage, and he was there, and he wasn't there.
Were you
So
scared?
I, it's funny because I was like moving around, and I turned and stopped, and then it happened, and I kind of froze and took in what I saw,
Mm,
and then I walked off the stage. Somebody who was working, one of the sound crew, she was in her booth, and they've got the cameras that are always on the stage, and she was looking at her camera, and she was watching me kind of dance around, and looking like a moron. And she said she watched the whole thing happen. Now she didn't see any apparition on her
mm.
monitor, but she saw me doing my thing and then stopping and walking off the stage. And then I knew another actor was upstairs on the 4th floor, and I went up and I told her what was going on because I guess I was a little bit freaked out, but and then it kind of got around the theater that night that I'd had this experience, and that woman, that stagehand, came up and she was like, "I watched it happen." She said, "I didn't see anybody else other than you, but I saw a genuine reaction from you, like what was going on." So did it happen? I don't know. Were my eyes playing tricks on me? That's certainly quite possible. You know what I mean? I'm not going to sit here and tell you ghosts are real, and if you don't believe me, then I'm going to hang up and I'm never going to talk to Steven Shields or his podcast again. I'm not going to do that. But that's what I saw.
No, I haven't seen any, Tyler. I'm not putting people down, but until I see it in person, I believe it's like UFOs. Have you seen any aliens or UFOs?
I don't believe so, unless they're incognito. I don't know. No, I've never seen anything like that. I mean, I've certainly gazed up at the night sky in the country time where there's no light pollution to there's all the stars that you could possibly see. But
No, because I've been watching some space shows on Disney Plus, and astronauts think they say they see UFOs, but they call it something else with NASA. Like this one astronaut, he said he kept hearing this knocking on the spaceship the whole time.
really,
Yeah, Chinese. I'm serious. And he,
let me in. Jeez, it's cold out here.
yeah, and he tells the crew, but they kept it quiet because he thought they'd think he's crazy. And a few of them went up in that same rocket, and they said they heard the same knocking.
Huh. I mean, it's a big universe.
Mm.
You know, I I do not believe that we're alone in this universe. Maybe the solar system,
Could have
probably,
been.
but yeah. But I don't know. I don't know. Do you believe in that?
No, I haven't seen any in person.
Right, that you know of.
Yeah. I said to my friend if I saw one, I'd do a podcast with it.
Right? Yeah, for sure.
But see, if they are real, why would the government keep them secret? They should just
I
say
think
it.
to prevent mass hysteria.
Mm.
I don't know. There's I mean, Jiminy Cricket, look how much people are going crazy because we're asking them to wear a mask. So, I don't know. That's
Nah, see, I do like watching space programs too.
yeah. Yeah, I like the space programs. I like the paranormal stuff. The problem with the paranormal programs is that if I watch them, because here's the thing, and I don't mind saying this because you said that you swore before sometimes too, but here's the thing. I am a chicken shit.
Yeah,
So, I remember, do you remember a show on Netflix a few years ago, The Haunting of Hill House?
I heard about it.
Okay. So Haunting of Hill House, it was a terrific show. But and they would have a giant haunted mansion, of course, and they would have ghosts hidden in the background of certain shots, and you can watch a YouTube video for all the hidden ghosts that they have. It's pretty freaky. Um, but the mom in the show, played by who was it? Oh, what's that actress's name? She's got anyway. she's got a very similar coloring to my wife, like her like the chestnut brown hair, and she's with the same height, and very 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 beautiful, just like my wife. But she goes kind of crazy, and she's a little bit possessed, shall we say? Maybe even a bit of a ghost later on. No spoilers, but if anybody hasn't seen it, they want to see it. But so my wife does this thing where, like, so we watched the whole series, and I shouldn't have, because I know how I react to these shows, and I spent about a month not sleeping well, truly. And I went to the washroom one night, and our right across from the hall from our bedroom is the washroom, and my wife very stealthily followed me in, but she was wearing this long white oversized men's extra extra large t-shirt.
So space programs, yeah, there's a lot of conspiracy theory in space programs too, Tyler.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, there was some stories from Air Force pilots, from U.S. Air Force pilots, saying, like, yeah, we've seen all sorts of stuff. So I mean, I kind of tend to believe Air Force pilots when they say they saw something that they can't explain. Now, is that necessarily an alien? No, it could be a Russian new plane, a prototype or something like that, or it could be a U.S. prototype that like a couple of Navy pilots didn't know that the Air Force had this flying saucer thing going on. I don't know. Here's the thing: I don't have answers. I'm an actor, and sometimes
No, this was an awesome show today, Tyler. I really like to thank you for coming on.
Sorry about my green screen falling.
Tell people what's your next movie? What are you doing?
Right now I'm doing a lot of auditions with my my junky green screen, and I'm like I say, I'm going to play Santa Claus very soon. Thankfully, I don't have to grow my beard out for it, but I'm going to be maybe a younger, hipper Santa, a younger Santa Claus. And yeah, other than that, we're just praying that the theaters open up soon. And are the theaters open there yet in Sydney?
Not yet.
Live theater, no?
No, I think the 1st of December.
Okay.
It's when everything's supposed to open.
And you're just starting, it's spring in Australia now, isn't it?
Yeah, spring.
All right, so it's fall here now. So we're just starting to get a little bit cold. I was thinking of you today. Earlier, I was walking the dog, and it was getting colder and chillier. I was like, oh, it's Steven's just getting his T-shirts out and stuff. So it's funny how that works.
Yeah. Also, too, I've got music on Spotify, Tyler. You just type my name into YouTube, Shiels Productions. Spotify is allowing me to video cast now, which is cool.
Nice.
So this will go on Spotify and YouTube.
Lovely.
And yeah, awesome to have you on. And look forward to
check out some of your music, and maybe I'll play it when I'm at the gym.
Yeah, and love to do this again with you.
I would love to speak with you again. It's always a pleasure, Stephen.
You too.